Edgecam can automatically reprocess toolpath into efficient orders for CNC machining. Understanding program optimization is key to fully utilize Edgecam's capabilities, including capturing and reusing proven toolpaths, feature-based machining, multi-part operations, and Tombstone Manager. This machining process fully utilizes the CNC capacity, milling 4 identical parts in a single CNC cycle. The production run is in the desired process order, where the tool is used completely across all parts before putting it away to move to the next cutter. I did not create all that toolpath. The production run is assembled from a single part, and toolpath was not in the actual process order. Now, multi-part production runs are another conversation, but don't check out of this video. Optimization is key to leveraging Edgecam's various toolpath accelerators. Watch as the spot drill handles all the holes in the part before moving to the next part. Let's look at how hole drilling is done on the part used to create the production run. Toolpath here has been built by feature, so we see the spot drill work at a group of holes, followed by the drilling in that group, then the spot drill works in the next group, then drilling in that same group, and this continues for the entire sequence. I have highlighted the 5 times the spot drill has been called and used. This is not efficient. Why not create toolpath in the desired process order? I'm going to start a new CAM file to demonstrate how this situation can occur and why this situation isn't a problem. You are about to see Edgecam used in some ways that perhaps you've never attempted, but don't worry. I'm a trained professional. All right, let's go. The solid we're going to load is a really simple feature-based machining part. There's a couple pockets and 3 different holes that will need to be machined. Simple toolpath for any mill programmer. We'll begin the process by choosing the material from our tech database, and since the part's already in an orientation that works, we'll load material that's part size, and then load a fixture from my fixture database, and then connect this to our Mazak VC Easy. Now, that machine has a toolkit that I'm going to choose, and the toolkit represents the tools already in the machine magazine, which will be my first choice for tooling. If we need a tool that's not in the machine magazine, we can easily do that. Now we're ready to move on to feature recognition. And in Find Features, I'm going to go reset the options using my mask and see what the set produces. There are a couple of features that aren't needed in this process. We'll toss those out and keep the 2 pockets and 3 holes. Now, as a reminder, when Edgecam has a feature, it's harvested a substantial amount of useful information. Things like the drill diameter, the countersink diameter and angle, and tap information. And you may think, well, if Edgecam knows all this, can't it just tool it up and program it? Of course. So let's use machine feature, and I'm going to ask Edgecam to do both roughing and finishing, but only on this group of holes for the time being. In production, I just have it do all the holes, but I want you to see what happens when I trigger toolpath this way. The toolpath is built with all the toolpath needed for that feature. We would always recommend review the tool used. Is it the correct tool? And then review the way the toolpath is used. Is that correct also? And here I agree, yep, this right spot drill, spotting happens, awesome. Move on to the drill, then the tap, then the countersink. Great, all the toolpath is in place. Let's continue the same process for the remaining holes. The order I have chosen them in is the order the toolpath will be built in. So we'll have all the toolpath needed for the second set of holes, and then all the toolpath for the third set. And this is how the same tool can get called multiple times. Now, just a reminder that we don't have to keep the suggestions put in place by the toolpath accelerator. So I'm going to throw the suggestion of how we do the roughing. I like the tool, just not how we did it. And instead, I'm going to go to my process library, choose a PCI template that has captured proven toolpath I've done in the past, and reuse it here on this part. That looks much better. Now, let's continue with machine feature in the pockets. I think everyone would agree we need to rough and then finish each pocket. And that is what's going to happen in each feature. So we see that the resulting toolpath, we've got a bunch of machining instructions. Well, what's happened? Well, we've started with choosing a suitable tool for roughing, doing the roughing, putting the tool away and moving to finishing, then putting the finisher away, going back to the same tool used for roughing, and then going back to the same tool used for finishing. Okay, we'll keep the toolpath, but I want to make a quick tweak to it, and I want to update the roughing to use my tech tables for waveform. That was a tech tip we covered recently with the expansion of the cutting data for Edgecam 2025. Great, looks better. And now for the final piece of toolpath, we'll switch to actually creating the toolpath ourselves. So we've done a whole mix of toolpath creation. I'm going to copy one of the tools we've already used. We're going to come and pull back the spot drill yet again, but this time we're going to use it for deburring. And I'm going to go to a mask that already sets up from the way that I typically do deburring to make it super fast to deploy the toolpath. And bang, done. We can move the tool to tool change. This is the last tool in the program. The entire process from start to finish has been done in less than 5 minutes because we've used toolpath accelerators. However, the process may not be in the desired order. And now is when we're going to show you a couple of new commands. You can see here Review Toolkit and Optimize, and these are commands that I've added to my machining tab, but if you haven't customized your ribbon, you won't find them there. You're going to need to go to the NC Code tab. Now I'm going to begin with Review Toolkit, and this checks to see did any tools not have a tool position. Maybe a tool wasn't in the magazine, and so we popped one in that needed to be used, but I need to assign a position. I do have one. Let's give this a suitable position, and then we'll close and regenerate the sequence. Now all the tools have a position, but the process is still in the same order. Before we optimize it, I want to make sure that my counterbore work happens before tapping. You may notice that in addition to T numbers, there are P numbers, and the P number is a process, and P300 is used for tap. So to ensure that in our optimized program, counterbore work happens first, I'm going to edit the tool that's used for the counterbore. I'm going to turn off associative, and then I'm going to go assign a sort priority that's a lower value than the 300 used for tapping. 299 is a lower value, so there I go. And that assigns a process number. Now, we'll explain more about process numbers in a lecture following the demonstration here, but just want to show how we did that. And then to run optimize, I'm going to not use NC code. I mean, you could, but I'm going to go back here to my machining tab and just run it from here. But first, I'm going to click on the down arrow to expose options. Be aware of the options. These set your optimization preferences. Things like, do you want to run by tool, by work plane, or by index plane? Do you want to merge together drill cycles or mill cycles? And do you want to replace the current sequence? Now, if you're trying this for the first time, you probably don't want to replace the sequence so that you can see what your original was and what you get after optimize. For me, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, I'm a trained professional, so we're going to go ahead and check this. And after pressing OK, now I'm ready to run the optimize command. Optimization's complete. Let's review the results. When we group by tool, we can see that the first thing in the process is our roughing because it was the lowest process number. Then finishing. Then spot drilling. With the spot drill, notice that we have one hole cycle rather than three. They're merged together like we requested, and we also have the deburring done. The counterbore machining happens right before the tapping. This is their intended result. It was quick to create the toolpath, and it was quick to reorder the machining process. Now that we've seen a demonstration, let's dig into some key details that you need to know to be successful with optimization. Perhaps you've never seen the optimized command before because perhaps you've always built toolpath in the order that the machining process needs to run in. There's nothing wrong with that. However, there's some very viable and fast options for getting all the pieces of toolpath that are needed, even though they might not be in the right order. And as long as we can sort them out quickly, it's all good. So Optimize does that with options to sort out by tool, by work plane, or by index position. But before that's done, sort priority actually comes into play because sort priority determines a process number. We'll be showing a little bit more of that in just a moment. It's important to remember that sort priority is really the magic ingredient that helps Edgecam make the right decisions based on machining process. When optimization is done, another thing to keep in mind is that optimization starts at the top of the sequence and then works progressively toward the bottom. And we'll be showing that also on the next slide. Now, this capability has been in Edgecam for many years, and initially it was called rationalize. So the term rationalize and optimize basically are the same thing as far as we're concerned for this discussion. And that's actually really important that when you search the help system, look for the keyword rationalize. You'll find the information that is currently used in the optimize command. So just keep those things in mind. Now, what about sort priority? Well, sort priority is kind of the magic ingredient that influences optimize very heavily. It's a process number. And the lowest number will be the highest priority within the process. And by the way, if we leave sort priority blank, that actually has a higher priority than the lowest number. So those are important things to keep in mind, and we'll be showing an example of how this plays out in just a moment. And again, tying back, this isn't a mistake. We're saying the same thing in both columns. The optimized processing always begins with sort priority first, and then the assigned option. So if you've never been aware of that, you might have been wondering, why does optimize not give me the final results I really want? So it's really key for that. Now, where do you assign sort priority? Actually, several places. At the basic level, you can assign it directly in ToolStore. So for example, I've assigned all the spot drills in my database a common process number because they would happen pretty much the same point in any process before drilling, for example. So you can assign them in ToolStore and that right to the tool record. It's also possible to assign them to job kits. It's also possible to assign them directly in the tool dialog in Edgecam, and it's possible to assign them using our various automation options, such as PCI strategies, masks, things like that. Well, let's look at some examples of how process automation and sort priority has an influence. So when we think about an unsorted process, similar to the demo part that we just showed, that process winds up with building the toolpath by feature or by item. So all the toolpath for the 3/16 holes was put in, then the 1/2-13 and so on. Well, that winds up meaning that we've used the same tool multiple times, the same spot drill, the same countersink, the same roughing tools, the same finishing tools. We have all the right pieces in place, but they're not in the process order. Now, if we used optimized and did not have sort priority, what would happen? Well, starting at the top of the list and moving sequentially down the list. The first tool encountered is T20, the spot drill, with the 3/8-16 holes. And so that block of toolpath is placed at the top. And then when Edgecam sees a tool change, it pauses and looks where else was T20 used. The next instance of T20, that toolpath is now moved up, and so on and so on. And that would be the process order for tool 20. And then The next thing left at the top of the sequence is where T33 does the drilling on the 316 tapped holes. So that's the next thing in the process. The next thing is the tap. And you might wind up looking at that and saying, that's not really the process order I wanted. Why did it get it into this order? All it had to go on was the tool position. But if we assign sort priority, we now have a process number. And the process number can be kind of whatever you want. Come up with your own scheme. For me, let's say process 100 is for roughing. 100, 101, 102, 103, tons of flexibility. Process 200 and higher is for finishing. Process 1000 is spot drilling, and so on. Well, with that kind of a process order, if I add that to my original tool path, then the optimized results will now be laid out in a very efficient order that reflects my machining process, more so than simply tool number by itself. So in a lot of ways, sort priority is really the secret to being successful with Optimize. And keep in mind that you can always take the optimized sequence and further refine it later down the road. Now that you've seen the process, let's show a quick turn-in example, courtesy of my colleague Mike O'Neill. There are several grooves ready for roughing, and I'll apply a simple strategy that Mike built for rough grooving, one of the ways that Edgecam can capture and reuse proven toolpath. The tool is called repeatedly because there's very limited decision-making that was added to this strategy, but not a problem because we can use Optimize, and that provides the intended result. This is quick to create toolpath, it's quick to re-go to the machining process, and this is faster than either Mike or I could have created this toolpath manually. Do you have questions on this or other topics? Please contact us to discuss. We would love to hear from you.